The clubroom is quiet. When Sayori walks in, Natsuki glances in her direction. Sayori smiles and gives Natsuki a quick wave before sitting down across the room. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. Sayori decides it's best to continue the manga she was reading, so she pulls it out. However, it looks like Natsuki isn't reading today. She has a sheet of paper in front of her and is tapping a pen against her desk, staring at it.
Ooh, are we writing today?
Monika speaks in a quiet voice, unwilling to disturb the peace of the clubroom. She kneels down at Natsuki's desk.
Hey!
Natsuki pulls the sheet closer to her and covers it with her arms.
Sorry, I didn't mean to peek. Whatever. I just wanted to see how everything was going. It's fine.
Natsuki replies dismissively. She glances over at Sayori, who is focused on her manga. Monika follows Natsuki's gaze.
I think she's mad at me. How come? I'm busy right now. Ask me later.
Monika falls silent. Natsuki looks back down at her paper. She inches her hand away from the top margin, allowing Monika to see. It says, To Sayori. Understanding, Monika smiles. She places a hand on Natsuki's shoulder and whispers softly.
I'm proud of you.
Natsuki looks away, but makes no motion to remove Monika's hand. Monika gives Natsuki's shoulder a quick squeeze before standing back up and pulling away. The end of the club meeting passes. Yuri has already departed. So has Monika, after checking on Sayori and Natsuki to ensure they wouldn't stay too late. Sayori was determined to finish her manga volume before heading out, since the end was approaching. However, with Natsuki also staying late for an unknown reason, a silent tension hangs in the air. After finishing the volume, Sayori brings it to the closet to put away. She slides it back onto the shelf while Natsuki watches. Then, Natsuki gets up and pulls it back out in order to return it to its proper location.
Sorry. I didn't know where it's supposed to go. It's fine.
The two fall silent again, avoiding eye contact. They both look like they're about to say something, but neither can break the silence. A moment passes.
Well, I'll be on my way. See you tomorrow.
Sayori turns away to hide her pained expression, then walks away from the closet. If there was any proof Natsuki no longer wanted to be friends, this was it. Defeated, Sayori carries herself out of the clubroom. Once in the hallway, Sayori takes a deep breath and hits her palms against her cheeks to clear her head a little. Suddenly, Natsuki's stammering voice calls from behind.
Natsuki?
Startled, Sayori turns back around to face Natsuki. Natsuki fidgets and anxiously continues with a shaking voice.
I have a lot of things to say. Me too. But you go first.
Natsuki bites her lip and can't stay still.
Well, first of all...
She cuts herself short, struggling to continue. Trying to force the words out, she stamps her foot and hops up and down a little.
I'm sorry for the thing I did at lunch, and I'm sorry for just being kind of mean lately. It's really hard for me to I'm not good with things that make me uncomfortable, especially when it comes to like feelings and stuff. So...
Face burning, Natsuki clams up again. Instead of continuing, she simply holds up a sheet of paper for Sayori to take.
The best place in the world. I love my bedroom. It's full of bright colors and soft things. The sunlight shines in and makes everything sparkle. It's the best place in the world. It has all my treasures, all my books, my collections, my memories. All of my dreams are born in this room. It's the best place in the world. It has all my secrets, all my failures, my fears, my feelings. Sometimes I feel so fragile that the door will break at the slightest touch, but it's still the best place in the world. But when someone knocks, I get scared. I brace my arms against the loose hinges. Please don't break. Don't come in. I'm not ready. It's my best place in the world. The knocking won't stop. I block the door with furniture. An eye peeks through the keyhole, and I panic. I'm trapped in the best place in the world. I'm not ready to share my favorite place. I need to clean my secrets and make my bed to hide my nightmares. I need to touch them to put them away, to see them again. I have so much to do and I'm scared. I'm not ready. But it's still my favorite place. I still want to share it. However long it takes, if you wait patiently, I'll eventually open the door, and I'll show you the best place in the world. That's a poem. But I thought... Well, I sucked it up so that I could work things out with you. So just be happy about it. Please?
Sayori smiles deeply from the bottom of her heart.
I'm happier than I could express. I feel so awful, and I'm so happy that you would do this for me. I actually realized before the club meeting today that I made a mistake. I got so caught up in the chance to get closer to you that I forgot to think about what you wanted. And though we probably have different ways we like to make friends. About, like, the friendship stuff. I mean, it's okay. I understand, so you don't have to force yourself to talk about it. Your poem did a good job. So don't force yourself if you're not ready yet, okay?
Natsuki nods.
You don't have to feel like you did anything wrong. It was my fault and I'm sorry. I wasn't mad at you today or anything like that. I actually felt really guilty and wanted to give you space. I was thinking it's silly that I just approach you all the time, and that I should just let you approach me when you want to. Whatever makes you comfortable, I'll respect that from now on. Friendships should always start with those feelings. With the right balance.
Natsuki nods again.
One thing about that. Well, I don't want to have to approach you all the time either. I just want it to be balanced, like you said.
Sayori nods.
I understand. We'll make sure of that together then. Well, anyway.
Now that the two of them have found common ground, Natsuki finds it easier to speak more freely again.
I'm not gonna be, like, sharing my poems all the time now, or anything like that. But I guess it wouldn't hurt to do once in a while. Only the best ones. So you better like them, because otherwise I might change my mind. I like anything you do, Natsuki. I was just saying. More importantly, I have to tell you about my new boyfriend. Huh? Oh, from the manga. Wait, I need to guess who it is. You definitely won't be able to guess.
The two walk down the hallway together.
Oh my god, we have so much to talk about. Darn, I should have told you to save the last 2 chapters so I could see your reaction to the big reveal. Oh, you wanted to enjoy it with me. That's so cute. Oh, shush.
And they became better friends. That's so nice. Now, I just realized this thing's clock matches the clock for the time I'm playing this. That's kind of interesting. But on to reflection.
Am I bothering you? No. Okay, just checking. It's hard to tell since you always look so into it when you're reading. It makes me scared to interrupt. Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here. It's mainly when I'm by myself that I don't like it. That makes sense. I guess if you're here in the first place, then you're more ready to socialize, even if it takes a little bit of prodding. It's not so bad to be social if I let others do the work, so it can be healthy to put myself in a social environment every now and then. It's mostly difficult when I don't know anyone, or there are too many people, or everyone is being too silly for me to keep up with.
Yuri glances across the room at Sayori and Natsuki. Sayori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch pieces of cookie that Natsuki is lobbing into the air, but the pieces keep bouncing off her face and hitting the floor.
Maybe I should say something. No need. They just ran out of cookie. What a waste. They've really become great friends, haven't they? I'm happy. Sayori seemed particularly good at making that happen. But the two of them are both on the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well. Yeah, come to think of it, you and I haven't had many chances to talk one-on-one, have we? Though that may be partially my fault, since I'm supposed to be the one engaging club members. Not at all. I've probably formed a habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equally on me, at least to display some openness to engage. Well, what about during times like lunch? Do you meet up with friends? I just read. Oh, but I like it that way. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes. Do you always read fantasy? Oh, not always. I suppose that's all I've read recently, but only because I'm in the middle of this series. There are still 2 more books after this one. I guess those long books suit you well, since you spend so much time reading. Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that, I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity. Oh yeah? Even like romance? Oh, well, there are a lot of books that have elements of romance in them. Oh, come on, Yuri, you know what I mean.
Monica lowers her voice.
It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I won't tell anyone if you do too.
Oh, really?
Maybe more when I was in middle school. I mean, I was really lonely and people were mean to me a lot. So it kind of felt like... please don't make me think about the past. Sorry, I just got super curious. You know, we should totally pick out a romance novel to read. That would be so much fun. Absolutely not. Really? Even if it was just between us? Try asking someone who has no shame, like Natsuki. Ouch! Sorry. I swear I didn't mean that. Well, I guess it was my fault for pressing you. I'm like that for things in my past, too. You know, things I feel too embarrassed to re-experience. There's nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Natsuki's interest in manga reminds me quite a bit of how intense I used to be about my own interests. It makes me think that she'll likely grow out of it, too. Hey, were you talking about me? No, we were just talking about how our interests have changed over the years. When did you get into manga, Natsuki? Like a couple years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before that, but I wasn't really going hard until then. Oh yeah? What was it that inspired you to get more into it? I don't know. I guess, let me think. It was after I discovered a series that I really like. Yeah, I was just like really fed up with a lot of things, and I got super into this one series that I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I just hated everyone around me and wanted to be myself, or be by myself. Hey, kinda like Yuri. Monica. Sorry. That's completely wrong, so... It's still cool that you both really found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they helped you a lot through hard times. You know it. Wow, what the heck? Is that book even bigger than the last one you were reading? It's technically slightly longer, but not by very much. How high do you think it would go if you stacked up the whole series?
Natsuki estimates by holding her hand high above her head, sizing up an imaginary stack.
I should get one of those mangas that's like 50 volumes long so I can say I've read more than you. Not that I have the money for that. Please, that would hardly count when your books only have a few words per page. I know, I was just joking. I could never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me.
Yuri shoots a glare at Natsuki.
It's not boring. Chill, I said for me, not for you. I can have my own opinion, I just think it's too convoluted. Sayori, are those from the floor? Gross! Also, wash your hands before touching any of my books. Well, my hands aren't dirty. Just do it. The oils are there even if you can't see them. Fine.
Sayori trots out the door, and Natsuki follows.
Yuri, you look a little upset. What kind of nerve does she have to call my hobby boring? Well, she did correct herself. Hardly. She was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I already understand that it's not for everyone. But she knows well how much these mean to me. So how about just leaving me alone instead of needlessly telling me the things you hate about it? I'm sorry, Yuri. You may be right. This won't be the last time people have strong feelings about what they like and don't like. Especially in a literature club. So I should figure out how to mediate discussions to keep them positive and constructive. For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of creativity in your books, and also your ability to get through them so quickly. Thank you. Okay, well, this is something that I'll have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Natsuki find some common ground with you. Common ground isn't necessary. I just wish to be respected. Then, either way, I'll do my best. I'm skeptical when it comes to Natsuki. I trust you, Monica, but I'm skeptical.
A bit of friction.
Okay, everyone. We have a special club meeting today. As you know, the Literature Club is a place where we get to share things that we're really passionate about. But that also means we should be mindful of how we respond to each other's feelings. I think we have a chance to turn our differences into positive energy for each other. Aren't you being a little dramatic about it? This is important to me. Well, sorry, I just feel like I'm being accused or something. No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm sorry if it came off that way. but our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language, and I thought it would be a good topic for the literature club, don't you think? I'm sure we're going to have differences in opinion a lot, so I need to make sure we're prepared to keep a positive atmosphere in the club.
If you say so.
Sure. The cool thing about language is that it gives us a lot of different ways to express the same idea or emotion. We have a lot of control over how we want the other person to feel when receiving our thought. This goes for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, basically anything. For example, Sayori, what's your favorite food?
I have to organize my category. Should I start with snacks or do you mean full meals? Should I include breakfast?
Oh, jeez. Okay, how about your favorite fruit?
That's easy. Cherries.
Really? I always thought cherries tasted nasty.
What? Cherries are delicious.
Whoa, that's a pretty strong reaction.
Well, I just don't understand how somebody could think cherries are nasty.
How does it make you feel?
I don't know. Sad?
Defensive, maybe?
Yeah, I got defensive.
See, the reason you had such a strong reaction wasn't just because I don't like cherries. It's because you felt like your opinion was under attack. But that's weird, right? Something like taste is completely subjective. But when I say something like, I think cherries taste nasty, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Sayori's reality that cherries are delicious with my own, which is that cherries are nasty.
Wait, hold on. How is that objective when you just said it was only your own opinion?
It has to do with the way our brains interpret the words. You're talking about the reality of the cherries, not your feelings about them. Like Sayori. Let's rewind for a second and pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are nasty.
Good.
So, what if instead of that I said like, I've tried cherries and they're not for me. It's not the kind of flavor I enjoy.
Well, that's fine. As long as you don't call them nasty. Nasty is a nasty word.
Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think it gets the point across. This time around, instead of talking about the cherries, I just talked about my feelings, and Sayori didn't get defensive. So instead of clashing with each other, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yuri, you don't need to take notes. I'm not gonna quiz you or something. I know that. I was just... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you'd like. But does anyone have any thoughts so far?
Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language through a filter just to protect someone's feelings.
That's called being brash.
Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours on how you want to come across to other people. I'm only suggesting it as a tool to help turn your differences into a positive experience, rather than an argument. Right, Sayori?
Whatever you say, cherry hater.
Oh, come on. Sayori, I actually like cherries. I was just saying that to help demonstrate.
What the heck? I've been duped.
I'm sorry, Sayori. I'll make it up to you later. How about a cherry sundae?
You are welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved president.
Buying your people's loyalty. How deplorable.
Oh, like you would turn down a free sundae, Yuri. You are certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought in the other week.
I was reading and not keeping track of them. Oh, that's enough. We're getting off topic. So now that we have the gist of it, how about we try it with something more relevant to the club? Like manga, right? Let's try to have a productive discussion about our differences in opinion.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Yuri, do you want to start? Well, I'd rather not know. Oh, how come? Well, because I don't see how anything productive can come from that. It's just going to start a fight. No, it'll be fine. That's why I'm here to moderate. Let's just have a calm and rational discussion.
Yeah, give me a little more credit. I'm not a child. You don't have to coddle my feelings. I always think it's more respectable to just speak your mind.
Respectable?
Yuri's expression changes at that word. As Monica recalls, being respected was the crux of the matter for Yuri.
Well, the point of the exercise isn't exactly like... It's fine. I have nothing against anyone personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever it is you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance in my reading material.
I look for stories that are imaginative and sophisticated beyond the surface level.
Oh, well, that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were going to say that manga's for children or something. Like, I don't hear enough of that. But there's plenty of deep manga.
I'm not clueless about manga. I've read my own fair share when I was younger.
What? Are you serious? How come you never told me?
Because I'm past that point in my life, and I really prefer not to visit or revisit it. I prefer more mature things now.
Excuse me? Okay, hold on. Can I jump in here? Let's try to keep things subjective.
Because if you imply that manga is immature, then aren't you implying that someone is immature for being into it?
Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you.
Natsuki.
Nobody's immature. I've read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy, and I love them both in their own way. Okay. It's great that you like it, but I still find it boring.
Boring isn't subjective.
Okay, it bores me. That's subjective.
But, the thing about... This is ridiculous. Do you see why I didn't want to participate in this? I knew it was just going to make people upset.
I'm not upset. Like I said, I don't care what other people think. But I always get the impression that you secretly looked down upon me, so I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed.
That's not true at all. You're making assumptions. You can't blame me for getting defensive when nobody ever has the least bit of respect for the things that I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me for just being myself and trying to mind my own business.
What? Have you looked in a mirror? Tell me again about respect after calling all my interests immature.
You can't.
Please stop. Please. You don't mean the things you're saying right now. Let's just be friends.
I didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try and solve other people's problems next time, okay?
Yuri's piercing words send the clubroom into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves,